Hi there, this is Data, and welcome to the Wrestling Time Post Show. It is Saturday, December 9th, 2023, and tonight I'll be talking about Impact Wrestling's Final Resolution, which is a final Impact show before it rebrands to TNA, starting with Hard to Kill. So we have quite a few things to talk about. Let's kick things off talking about the main event, which was a tag team match. It was Josh Alexander and Zack Sabre Jr. versus the Motor City Machine Guns. So earlier in the night, there was a promo with Josh Alexander and Zack Sabre Jr., and they were basically just talking about their match tonight. Like Zack Sabre Jr. alluded to the fact that, it's about time Impact called them to compete in their show. And he says that it's bloody time and he's waited a long time. And how could he say no to Josh Alexander's invite, especially when he found out that they're going to go up against the Motor City Machine Guns? And he says that he will get Josh a championship. So basically, this was the main event. This was an incredible tag team match. Even though they've never tagged together, Josh Alexander and Zack Sabre Jr. made one hell of a team. But I'm going to pray to Moose and JBL, our wrestling gods, that we at some point get Zack Sabre Jr. and Josh Alexander in singles competition, because I would like to see that match. Also, too, we had a little preview or a sneak peek of Alex Shelley versus Zack Sabre Jr., a match that I also want to see. And I can't believe they've never had a one-on-one match. Some of my favorite spots in this match were the double figure four leg locks, which Saban did to Zack Sabre Jr. and Alex Shelley did to Josh Alexander. I really like the fact that Zack Sabre Jr. had Chris Sabin in a hammerlock, and Josh put Alex Shelley in that ankle lock. So those are some really cool spots. Now, one interesting thing here is that they were in Josh's hometown of Toronto, and I kind of thought that, okay, maybe the Motor City Machine Guns are going to win because, Alex Shelley does need momentum heading into Hard to Kill as he faces Moose. But I was really surprised to see that Josh Alexander and Zack Sabre Jr. won here, after Josh Alexander hit the C4 spike to Chris Sabin. Now, it's interesting that he hit it to Chris Sabin and not to Alex Shelley. I feel like they're going to give us that eventually at some point here. And so Josh Alexander and Zack Sabre Jr. are victorious here. Now, again, in Josh's hometown, I was really surprised because, like I said, thought the Motor City Machine Guns were going to win this. And also, too, we find out that we're going to get Josh Alexander versus Will Ospreay, too, at the Snake Eyes tapings in Las Vegas. Now, Josh Alexander versus Will Ospreay happened on the November 16th episode of Impact, which was an incredible match. If you have not seen it, I highly suggest you go back and check it out. Now, I cannot wait for that part. I'm going to be there, so I'm really excited. And, the last time that Will Ospreay fought Josh Alexander, Will Ospreay won, and he put over Josh Alexander in a post-match promo, which was incredible to hear. Now, with Will Ospreay going to AEW, I'm assuming Josh Alexander would win this one. That's what at least I think, and I cannot wait to be there for that match. But like I said, great main event, great way to end the final Impact show. Now let's talk about another match on here. It's a Knockouts tag team match. It's Gisele Shaw and Deonna Purrazzo versus Trinity and Jordynne Grace. Now, one of the things that I liked about this is the history that all these women have with each other. Before I get into the match, so very interesting dynamic here, because they're doing the whole can they coexist storyline with Jordynne Grace and Trinity, which is something they did with Trinity and Mickie James and Trinity and Deonna Purrazzo too. So in case you guys are new or you don't know, Deonna Purrazzo and Jordynne Grace have had an incredible rivalry since Deonna Purrazzo first arrived to Impact in 2020. They've had 5 matches, and 4 of those 5 matches, Deonna Purrazzo has defeated Jordynne Grace, with Jordynne Grace finally defeating Deonna Purrazzo at Victory Road when she came back. Now, Gisele Shaw is an interesting choice here, because Gisele Shaw briefly teamed with Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green with Vex, and they had a little rivalry here after Chelsea Green went home. Now, my bad, Gisele Shaw here also fought Deonna and Trinity when they were doing the whole Trinity and Deonna Purrazzo coexist at Against All Odds. It was the Chantarage, and it was Deonna and Trinity being victorious here. And also interesting, like in the countdown to Final Resolution, Trinity alludes that she did this too with Mickie James. And again, she and Mickie James fought Gisele Shaw and Savannah Evans in the Chantarage. So it's a very interesting dynamic here. I do think Gisele Shaw will be Knockouts champion in 2024. As for the match itself, I really like this match. I thought it was a great showcase of the Knockouts division. Now, Trinity and Jordynne Grace won. Deonna Purrazzo did take the pin here. No surprise here, as Fightful Select reports that Impact's Final Resolution is the last Impact date currently on Deonna's contract. Her contract is set to expire January 1st. She is set to explore her options as no deal with Impact has been reached. Things remain amicable between Deonna and Impact, and the door appears to be open to reach a deal or come back. So, Deonna's been losing as of late at Turning Point. She did lose to Trinity, and then she had an angle with Gail Kim right here at the end of her match. She shook hands with Gisele Shaw, and Gisele Shaw attacked her. So I'm assuming that door is open for her to come back based on those angles. I kind of thought we were going to get Deonna versus Gail Kim at Hearts Kill, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. Wherever Deonna goes, she's going to be a great grab. If this was her final match in Impact, thank you, Deonna Purrazzo. She's definitely such an incredible, amazing talent, and whatever company she goes to is incredibly lucky to get her. But with Gisele Shaw attacking Deonna, if she does come back, that's definitely going to be a feud that they're going to probably explore. All right. So let's kick things off talking about the countdown to Final Resolution is Jessie V versus PCO. Not PCO, obviously the French-Canadian Frankenstein. This match was about him. This match was okay. It was just about PCO. The crowd was so into PCO. No surprise that he won this match. We get a quick Jig Something segment, and Jason Hotch attacks him with a steel chair. So later on in the night, Jason Hotch is scheduled to fight Jig Something. And I'll talk about it when we get there. You got Jack Price versus Aiden Prince. I actually really like this match, especially because I haven't seen much of Aiden Prince and I haven't seen much of Jack Price. Now, Jack Price was the runner-up to Gut Check 2022, the winner obviously being Jason Hotcher. So incredible showing by Jack Price here. And I actually really dug this match with Aiden Prince. And I cannot wait to see more of Jack Price. Hopefully we see more. Also on the countdown, we had Jordynne Grace and Trinity. And basically, again, they're talking about their match. And like I said earlier, Trinity alludes to the fact that she did this is in her first rodeo, and she's done this with Mickie James. I can't believe she didn't mention Deonna, because she also did the whole Can They Coexisting with Deonna. The last match on the countdown to Final Resolution is Frankie Kazarian versus Sheldon Jean. This is Sheldon Jean's first match since Kenny and G King asked for his release. And, he held his own against Frankie Kazarian. He's come a long way in the short time that he's been with Impact. Being mentored by Kenny and G King, definitely did help him here. Unfortunately, he did lose as Frankie Kazarian put the chicken wing on him and he tapped out. So I'm looking forward to seeing what is in store for Sheldon Jean's future as we transition to TNA. So the main card kicked off with the Impact Tag Team title match. It was ABC versus Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers. So this is an interesting match, especially because, Brian Myers has been teaming up with Moose, but Moose has a match with Rhyno. So we couldn't get the most professional wrestling gods for this match. Now, it's no surprise that ABC was victorious here, and then afterwards they get attacked by the Rascalz, and they raise the tag titles. Now, An interesting factor here is that Moose was not at ringside. He didn't even bother to come out to help Brian Myers with this match. Him and Brian Myers, they had little issues, especially because at Bound for Glory, during the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, Brian Myers was teaming or formed a temporary alliance with Matt Cardona. And Moose, that didn't sit well with Moose. So they've been having a little rough of time. And I wonder what Moose is going to think over the fact that Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards failed to capture the tag titles here. So a couple things. After the Rascalz attack ABC, we do get a segment which I felt like they used the segment to set up Jody Threat versus Alisha Edwards. I kind of feel like this segment was a little unnecessary and it dragged on a little bit. It kind of brought the pace of the show down just a little bit. I feel like they could have set up the match, or maybe they could have announced the match or done something like this similar on the countdown and then had the match just lead into the match, Jody Threat versus Alisha Edwards. I feel like that little segment that followed really wasn't necessary. This was actually surprisingly a decent match, Jody Threat being another Canadian, so she had the hometown advantage. I kind of thought this was going to be an enhancement match for Jody Threat, but you know what? Alisha Edwards hung in there, so it was a really decent match. I actually liked it. Of course, Jody Threat is victorious. We get the digital media title match, Tommy Dreamer versus Diener. Now, of course, the crowd starts chanting ECW, ECW. This wasn't a bad match. It wasn't. And I knew Tommy Dreamer was going to win this. Now, I still don't like the fact that Tommy Dreamer took the digital media title off Kenny K and NG King. But if it leads to Crazy Steve taking that digital media title off of Tommy Dreamer, then I'm okay with the decision. But if not, then I totally feel like Tommy Dreamer should not have won that digital media title. And I kind of thought that at the end of this match, maybe Crazy Steve would come out and attack Tommy Dreamer, but that wasn't the case. I'm still hoping that they continue that feud and that rivalry, but no. But we'll see. So we get the Rascalz segment, and they basically sending a message to the ABC. They're telling them that they really think that they were done with them, and our Hard to Kill, it just won't be the resurgence of TNA, but of the Rascalz as well. Of course, Santino Marella, who interrupted because he was not happy with what they did. He said it was pointless and useless. And Trey Miguel says that they've been waiting for months for their rematch. And so we were supposed to get Speedball Mike Bailey versus Trey Miguel, but then it becomes a tag match. One of the things that I did like about this segment was that I thought it was so hilarious when he said he had a partner for Speedball in his back pocket, and then Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz were just like looking at him like, what? I thought that was really hilarious. But yeah, so it leads to a tag match, the Rascalz and Speedball Mike Bailey versus Trent 7. I was a little disappointed because I was really looking forward to Trey Miguel versus Speedball Mike Bailey. I thought that was hands down going to be match of the night here when they first announced it. But you know what? This tag team match was actually really fun. Trent 7 and Speedball Mike Bailey worked really well together. If I had to choose a favorite spot, is when the Rascalz did the code breaker, neck breaker, and then the shooting star press to Trent 7. That was a good spot right there. I actually really like that. I also like the fact when Speedball and Zachary Wentz both went down. I really like that spine buster to Trent 7 by Trey Miguel, and then the double stomp backbreaker combo that they did. And one of the things that I like was that ABC came out and attempted to confront the Rascalz. This actually ended up costing them the match. So Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Trent 7-1. Now, if you guys remember, the Rascalz have done something similar to the ABC. So even though I like the Rascalz and I like ABC, I can't say that the Rascalz didn't deserve that, because the Rascalz cost ABC their tag titles. So at the end of the match, Scott D'Amore comes out, and they're in the Don Coloff Arena, and he's talking about how he signed Josh Alexander and Speedball Mike Bailey in that very arena. And he also alludes to the fact that when he signed Speedball, he used Josh's back to sign his contract. So we find out that Trent Summit has officially signed with TNA, and he tells Mike Bailey to allow Trent Summit to use his back like he used Josh. So I cannot wait to see what Trent Seven does in TNA. This tag team match was only a hint of what he could possibly do. Maybe he forms a team with Speedball. Maybe he goes after the X Division title here. Maybe he goes after the digital media title. We just gotta wait and see what he does. We get a quick Motor City Machine Gun promo, and they're basically talking about Josh Alexander and Zack Sabre Jr. Talking about how, Josh's reputation speaks for itself. He's the longest reigning Impact World Champion. That they say that Josh and Zack Sabre Jr. are the greatest singles wrestlers, but tonight they're stepping into the tag team world, a world owned by them, the Motor City Machine Guns. So that's basically what this promo was about. Then we get Jake Something versus Jason Hotch. Now, this is Jason Hotch's first match back since he went on paternity leave. Now, I kind of thought that this match wasn't going to happen because, like I said, on the countdown to Final Resolution, Jason Hotch did attack Jake Something with the steel chair. So he was actually celebrating and saying that he had a lot of things to get off his chest because, there wasn't going to be a match. But little do Jake Something does come out. And Jason Hotch attempts to cheap shot him. Now, I really like the fact that Jake Something was playing up the fact that his back was giving out because, he was unable to lift Hotch, but he ultimately wins with Into the Void, and so Jake Something is victorious here. Jake Something has been phenomenal since he returned. I definitely want to see Jake Something go after, maybe the X Division title, digital media title. He definitely needs to win something, pun intended here, but he's definitely he's been fantastic since he came back. So I think 2024 would be his year. We get Rhyno versus Moose, which happened because, Heath got in Brian Myers' face and Moose defended him, saying that he shouldn't be talking to Brian Myers. They had a match. Moose beat Heath, and then in a post-match assault, they were beating Heath up, and then Rhyno saved Heath. So this is how we got here because Moose challenged Rhyno. So it's Rhyno versus Moose. Match ends in DQ, so Rhyno wins by DQ because Moose decided to go low. And Moose is walking away. Rhyno challenged him to a street fight. And, Moose was just like, he was done. He was out of there. And Santino Marella, it was announced that Santino Marella told Moose that he had to get that match. He had to accept the match or he will lose his title opportunity. Now, it's funny that this match is happening because at the Feast or Fired match, Steve Maclin actually got the briefcase that Moose is holding, but Rhyno gored him, and it caused Steve Maclin to toss the briefcase, and who caught it? Moose. So Moose should be thanking Rhyno that he gored Steve Maclin, because if it wasn't for that, Steve Maclin would be the one facing Alex Shelley at Hard to Kill, not Moose. So Moose, they should be thanking Rhyno for that. So, one of my favorite spots in this street fight. Now, Moose has his fair share of extreme matches. He's been in a Monsters Ball. He's been in Raven's Clockwork House of the Clockwork House of Orange match. So he's no stranger to extreme matches. Now, one of my favorite spots, he pays homage to Brian Myers, to his Most Professional Wrestling God tag team partner. Now, it's funny because Moose set up a table that he was intending to put Rhyno through. He bit Rhyno, and then Rhyno countered with the power bomb to Moose through a table. And there is this one spot where Rhyno threw Moose onto a ladder, and then Rhyno accidentally sent Moose into the ref, and the poor ref went down. And then another my bad. Rhyno gored Moose, but the ref was still down. So by the time another ref came down, it was too late. Moose kicked out. And then Rhyno attempted to gore Moose, but Moose moved out of the way, and he accidentally gored the poor ref through a table. And so Moose speared Rhyno, and Moose won this match. So essentially, it was spear versus gore, and the spear prevailed. And you know what? Moose needed this win because he needs momentum going into Hard to Kill. Again, he's challenging Alex Shelley for that Impact World title. So you get a Frankie Kazarian promo, and he's basically talking about how 2024 would not only be the year of TNA, but it would be the year of Frankie Kazarian. He wants to finally win the world title. We also get a Moose interview where basically he said that tonight he put to bed every version of himself that we've ever known, the 5-star athlete, Mr. Impact Wrestling, and the wrestling god. And at a Hard to Kill, people need to know Moose as simply one thing: Moose, the new TNA World Champion. Okay, and I'm going to stop right there because I already talked about the tag team match and I already talked about this Knockouts tag team match. So overall, I thought this was a fantastic show. You know, Impact always delivers. Now, the one thing, unfortunately, that stops this from being a Shawn Spears perfect 10 is the fact is how they set up Alisha Edwards versus Jody threat. I felt like the segment that they used was a little unnecessary. You could have had that on the countdown to Final Resolution and then just had the match here. I really didn't like the fact that it happened right after the match, right after the tag team match, you know. But aside from that, the match itself wasn't bad, and the entire rest of the card was not bad. Actually, I did not mind the card. It was a fantastic show. Impact certainly went out with a bang. You know, I've only been watching Impact 3 years, probably since like July of 2020, and it's been one hell of a ride. I've enjoyed every show that Impact has done. They've always delivered, and this was no different. Unfortunately, if it wasn't for that little thing, it would be Shawn Spears' perfect 10. But on a scale from 1 to a Shawn Spears perfect 10, I have to give tonight's show a 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was such a great show, and they definitely went out with a bang. I cannot wait for Hard to Kill, the first show under TNA banner. And with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I hope to see you guys Monday after Raw. Bye.